The fate of soybeans and the people whose livelihoods depend on selling them is up in the air right now. America's soybean farmers are stuck in the middle of a trade war between the United States and China, the biggest purchaser of soybean exports. No other country comes close to purchasing as many American soybeans as China. Last year, it was worth more than $12 billion. This year, China has not purchased a single dollar's worth, cutting off the country that makes up about half of soybean exports. And few people understand this, like the farmers here in Kentucky. And today, we're taking a deep dive on this topic with Jim Wade, a local soybean farmer and a fabulous Kentuckian. So we're here with Jim Wade. Welcome to Truth in the Barrel, Devil's Cut. Let's get started. Can you tell us where we're sitting?
We are sitting in the middle of my farm shop, which originally was built to be the stripping room when I was a tobacco farmer, which I no longer am a tobacco farmer. Another story. But all the repairs and construction that I do on equipment and machinery is done in here.
And tell us, for people listening, what is life like farming these days?
This year, it's very difficult. It's nerve-wracking. Don't know what to do half the time because.
What does a normal season look like?
Normally, I would be looking at planting soybeans in the spring, March, April, May, and between the soybeans and the corn and wheat.
Mm-hmm. And what's happened this year that makes it a little bit more challenging?
Challenge this year was it looked like we weren't going to make any money at all, that we'd lose money big time. And in fact, I raised more corn because I was going to lose less money on corn this year than I was on soybeans. Mm-hmm. So that's the way this year went.
And how big is your operation? How many people do you employ here?
I have 4 employees, and currently I'm raising about 800 acres of crops, mm-hmm. corn, soybeans, and wheat. When
you first heard about the tariffs, Jim, what was your first reaction?
That it was bad.
Because it was bad before, right?
The tariffs were bad in the 2016, 17, 18, and 19, and doubly bad because it affected what our prices were when we sell. And at the same time, when I go buy parts, when I go buy nuts and bolts and that kind of thing, a lot of that comes from China.
Right.
And that got much more expensive. And it's still doing that. It's still getting more expensive to buy all the things that I had to have, the stuff you see sitting around here. Mm-hmm. And again, it's tough to sell the soybeans. It's particularly bad this year because locally we've had bad weather conditions and our crop yields are low.
So you have to deal with, as a farmer, you have to deal with changes in the weather and the climate and the sort of uncertainty there. And then you add in these tariffs. I just feel like compared to what happened during the first Trump administration, this is actually worse. Would you agree with that? Why?
It is worse. During the first time through, China cut back and we lost a lot of the market, but we still kept some of it, mm-hmm. and were able to continue. And this year, like you said earlier, it's zero. They're not buying anything.
Even if some deal is made at this point, can you recover anything? I mean, where are we now?
I could possibly do it if it's done quickly because I'm holding mine. I typically hold my beans. I have storage bins, and that lets me get the beans harvested and put away when they're ready, and then I can sell them when I'm ready. And I usually do that January, February, and March. Mm-hmm. And if they get something done quickly, then I can see a better price. the people who don't have grain bins and who are harvesting right now out of the field, because that's what we have to do to get it out of the field or it'll spoil. They're having to sell it today at a lower price.
Right.
And they can't recover. And once that's gone, it's gone.
Right. And I worry also about the foreign market because once that market is gone, it's very hard to get back. I mean, at least that's what I hear from people. And once China starts buying from, Brazil or some South American country, it's hard for them to come back. Do you agree with that?
That's the way it's been.
Yeah.
We worked hard to develop that market. There's National Soybean Board that put a lot of effort into that in order to build a market up for us. And now it's gone.
What do your fellow farmers who you talk to here think about all of this?
Basically that the tariffs are bad and it's spoiling the market and putting all our farms in jeopardy.
What would you want lawmakers to know? Would you want them to do something about this?
I would like to see I know tariffs have to be done sometimes. That's been that way for long as we've probably recorded that type of thing. And there's a place for them, but they're not being done correctly now.
Yeah, it appears to be very chaotic.
It's chaotic, and the tariffs coming out of my pocket.
Yeah, out of your pocket, out of my pocket. Also, they seems to be based on the whim of one guy. So one guy, the president, sees a video that he doesn't like out of Canada, and he jacks up the tariffs on Canada. And the next day, he doesn't like, I don't know, Mexico. So he does something there. And then, it just seems very chaotic there's no plan behind it. But
that's good observation.
Yeah. Outside of policy, though, what do you love most about farming?
It's something I'm born and raised here. This farm has been in the family for 260 some years. And so I keep farming it. My sister and I are the ones who are still here and participating in the farming, and others are off other places doing their own thing, but it's something I wanted to come back to and do.
I've read a lot in the past few years about the small family farm, and there's seems to be a lot of concern here in the United States and in Kentucky that we're losing a lot of small family farms. Can you talk about that?
We are. Back when I was a kid and before, it was possible for a family to do a 40-acre farm and make a living. And that's back when tobacco was primary crop in this area. And a family of four could raise 5 acres of tobacco and make a living at it. And as well as grow some other crops and raise vegetables and pigs or cows or whatever.
Yeah.
There are not really any more 40-acre farms that I know of. And I outgrew fairly quickly the family farm, and I'm renting acreage elsewhere, have been renting acreage elsewhere for quite a few years in order to have an operation that was profitable.
Right. And you talked about some of the challenges with everything that you do. I want to go back a little bit to the tariffs, because to me, it seems like we're shooting ourselves in the foot here with some of these policies. And there's been talk, and I know this was talk during the last administration, it was actually action during the last administration, to bail out farmers that had been hurt by the tariffs. And there's talk of that happening again. And I want to get your take as a farmer. What do you think about that? U.S. taxpayers having to bail out farmers because of these tariffs that were unilaterally instituted?
Government has been contributing to farmers as long as I've been farming. Some years more than others. There's always an effort to help us through bad weather conditions, which we routinely have. And it's better that farmers don't all go out of business, and then you wouldn't have any at all.
Yeah.
But at the moment, we don't even have anybody to go talk to.
Yeah.
Because the office is closed.
Let's talk about that a little bit. This government shutdown that's happening right now, one of the real reasons for that is healthcare. And, this past summer, the administration, along with the folks in power in our government, passed a bill that basically ended the subsidies for the Affordable Care Act. In Kentucky, that's called Connect. And there are many people in Congress and Democrats who have said, that's really going to hurt people and we need to take a stand. And so I wanted to sort of get your take, because you have folks that work for you who have benefited from the Affordable Care Act.
That's true. My wife and I don't, because we're old enough to be on Medicare. But with the employees have been on, we've made an effort to get them onto the Affordable Care Act policies that they could get, and they have taken advantage of those and to stay healthy. If the prices go up the way they're talking about, they're all going to lose their insurance.
Yeah.
And then they won't be able to do anything but go to the emergency room.
That's right. That'll be devastating for people, Also, something that we don't talk about enough with regards to these, what I think are just insanely stupid across the board tariffs right now, is that we pay the price, but you also pay the price as a farmer in the equipment that we see around us in your shop here. Because everything is made, a lot of things are made overseas, right?
A lot of the basic hardware, the nuts, the bolts, the raw steel, the raw aluminum. I'm able to do a lot of the work on the equipment myself, including building it. So if you look around, you see pieces of equipment that have been constructed and sitting out back, or equipment being repaired. And I've got to buy parts.
Yeah.
And a lot of those, the nuts and bolts, the basic hardware, the steel, comes from overseas. Even if I were buying brand new equipment, that steel that is used in those and the hardware is also bought overseas.
What is your message if you were to sit here with the president sitting next to you? What would your message to him be, given the amount of sort of uncertainty and upheaval that you have experienced because of these policies?
It's not all going to come back, even if they come to an agreement. We had a good market, and now it's pretty much destroyed, and whether or not it can be rebuilt, it won't come back the way it was.
And my concern, Jim, was like, why? Why are we doing this? Like, what are we getting out of it?
I'm not getting anything out of it.
Right, you're not. I mean, we know the Chinese have done things that we don't like. They've taken a lot of intellectual property. They're doing things that we don't like, but they have not changed their behavior in any of those areas. And so if we come with a deal, a trade deal with them, now we're back to square one that we were at a year ago. But nothing has changed, and all we've done is just hurt our farmers, hurt our bourbon industry, hurt our auto industry, and hurt ourselves in the checkout line at Kroger.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you think the American people or your fellow Kentuckians ought to know about what's happening right now?
It's bad. It's not going to get better for a long time, and it'll take a significant effort to get us back to where we were.
Yeah. And again, it didn't have to be this way.
No, it did not.
I mean, I look at some of these policies and I really don't understand, and I think a lot of Americans don't really fully understand what it's all about. And I talk to voters all the time. I talk to my fellow Kentuckians. You know what I hear, Jim? I hear, well, I think the president knows what he's doing. I don't really know what a tariff is, but I think he knows what he's doing. And I wanted to do an interview you, Jim, because I want to let people know that these policies hurt people, and they hurt businesses, and they hurt our farmers. And hear it straight from you is really important.
Well, I used to be other things other than a farmer, and a lot of that involved world trade and selling products overseas. In the efforts we made to do that, tariffs haven't helped any of that.
They haven't helped it. In Kentucky, we have the second highest per capita dependency on international trade in the country. We are twice as dependent here in Kentucky as New York or California or Texas. And it's because we have industries that we built here. It's because we have a strong agriculture, farming, soybeans, for example, but it's also because of our aerospace industry. It's also because of our car industry here, and the bourbon industry. Yes. And so,
bourbon's the biggest industry in Kentucky right now.
Yeah. Well, when you slap on tariffs on our Canada and Mexico, which are our largest trading partners, for no reason.
Then all the trucks turned around and came back home with the bourbon in them.
Yes. You mentioned immigration. Tell me what your thoughts are.
When I was tobacco farmer, we had a very high dependence on labor from immigrants, Mexicans. I could hire a Mexican crew to cut tobacco and put it in the barn and get it done on a timely basis. And I'm no longer a tobacco farmer, so I don't have that problem. I don't have any immigrant labor here on the farm, but it's very common on the horse farms in the area. And those are some of the people you need to be talking to about the labor situation that they have.
Yeah.
We're all immigrants.
Yeah. I did a conference this afternoon, in which one of the other candidates, I'm running for U.S. Senate here in Kentucky, as you know, and one of the other candidates made the statement that we're being invaded by immigrants that are all out to harm us, and we need to get rid of them all.
No, they're not. Like I say, when we were doing tobacco, we had a lot of immigrants around, and they did a good job and are being treated poorly now.
Yeah. And they're just trying to make a living.
They're trying to make a living, trying to do better than what they were.
Many industries need them. The horse industry, of course, in Kentucky is heavily.
Very definitely.
Yeah. My husband's family is in the agriculture equipment business. And so I've gotten to know a little bit about agriculture through them. And one of the things that they talk about is how hard it is to get into farming. If you're a young person, you have to almost have it be in your family and you inherit it, or else you just can't break into that. What do you think on that?
That's true. It's hard to start out. I know people who do, know people who have.
It is hard, and the healthcare piece, what we talked about earlier, is a big part of that. Because if you're a small farmer, you're on your own when it comes to healthcare, and the Affordable Care Act allows you to buy healthcare, and Connect is Kentucky's equivalent in that individual marketplace in a way that's affordable. So if those subsidies go away,
then the healthcare is going to go away, and that's going to be a big problem.
Yeah.
But if people can't make it this year, they're going to go out of business, and then there'll be a whole lot of farms, a whole lot of equipment that winds up being sold and going up for auction, and land that will either fall idle or be available for somebody else to pick up.
Mm-hmm. I know you're not a beef farmer, but I'm going to ask you a little bit about the president's idea to buy beef from Argentina because he likes Argentina so much.
Bad idea. I used to be in the beef farming business and got out of it. Mm-hmm. But I know a number of other people who are into beef right now, but they're other things as well. So they're not solely into cattle. But it ought to be a market issue, mm-hmm. and not something that our government is trying to push us into.
I hear you.
And the beef farmers this year are getting their reward for sticking with it for as long as they have, and now it's being taken away.
Yeah. What are your thoughts? And this doesn't have to make the cut at all, but is there anything the president and Republicans are doing well right now?
Not that I can see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I try to find something, and it's really hard. It's really hard. I feel like that they're hurting our industry.
They've promised me some payments, but I haven't seen them.
Yeah. Well, we need better leaders, and we're going to keep working on that.
That's why I'm in your court.
Awesome. Thanks, Jim.